Once upon a time, a great healer, known as the Synthesizer, found himself in his castle of healing, but the throne he sat on had become a cage. For 10 long hours he was bound to it, a living conduit for the suffering of his people. Their pain flowed through him, and with it his own life force, his own light, drained away into the cold stone floor. There were souls to mend, a young mother lost in a forest of sorrow, a proud man consumed by the twin fires of work and worry, and he gave them his full attention, a treasure he knew he did not have enough of to spare. A deep need stirred within him, not for glory or for gold, but for simple survival. He needed to escape the cage, to find a quiet corner of the world where he was not a resource to be endlessly consumed. He crossed the threshold of his own keep at the end of the day, but the sanctuary he longed for was not there. Instead, another quest awaited him. A long and perilous journey in a wounded chariot, a demand from his queen that took no account of the 10 hours of depletion he had just endured. And so, with the last flicker of his strength, he did the one thing his very bones screamed for him to do. He said, "No." That tiny word, small as a seed, unleashed a tempest. He found himself on a road of trials far more treacherous than any winding path, a storm of accusation, of blame, of rage that threatened to tear his world apart. In the heart of that hurricane, he searched not for victory, but for truth. And he found it. A truth as terrible and as liberating as a lightning strike. He saw the architecture of his life laid bare. 2 great machines, one professional and one personal, both designed as one-way gates, drawing his energy, his care, his very essence, and returning only emptiness. The battle was never about a carriage ride. It was a quiet rebellion against a slow, systemic vanishing. The price of this clarity was immense, the raw ache of a fractured bond, the chilling terror of a future suddenly unwritten. But what he took from the wreckage was a key, forged in the fire of that fight. It was the key of non-negotiable self-preservation, the understanding that he could no longer fund his own destruction. He returned to the quiet of the evening not as a husband or a healer, but as a lone survivor, finally tending to his own wounds. A change had taken root deep in his soul. The exhaustion was a heavy cloak, but it was now woven with a thread of cold, hard resolve. The man who had been a willing cog in 2 consuming engines was gone. In his place stood an architect, quietly drawing up the plans for his own escape. For he had learned the greatest magic of all, that sometimes, before you can build a new world, you must first find the courage to leave the one that is caging you.